Hello everybody, the Destroyer here, and welcome back to another cast of the Rise of the Witch King, patch 2.02, version 5.0.1. Today we have a 2v2 on Fords of Isen 4, which is a custom map made by Lazarus, which is, of course, a custom map of Fords of Isen 2, but for 4 players. So, our first player is Lazarus, of course, playing on his own map, as the Goblins. And his partner here is Minion, who is, I believe, Jeepers Creepers, if the replay description is correct there, as Angmar. And the opposing team is BraBox as Goblins. And his partner is Netflix&Ch, which is Belzebub, I suppose, according to the replay description. So yeah, I'll be calling him Belzebub and him Jeepers, just so you know. Just as a heads up. So yeah, so we got Goblins and Angmar versus Dwarves and Goblins. Interesting. And of course, this map is basically an expanded Fords of Isen 2, as you see, but it does have an outpost here. It does have a ward layer in front of it, so you can't just run up and capture it. Other than that, it's kind of similar to Fords of Isen 2, just a bit extended, as you'll see here. Pretty cool map, though, I do admit. While I am sick of Fords of Isen 2, it's overplayed to death, I don't mind so much the expanded upon version of it. I think it's pretty neat. Anyway, Jeepers going for a Hall of the King's Men there. He's got his first battalion of Gundabad orcs on their way over. Who's that? Oh, BraBox's builder's there. He needs to get him out of there. Looks like he'll do so. There's some goblins being sent by Lazarus to take out the wargs here. They do manage to kill one of them. Doesn't really matter if he loses goblin warriors to the wargs, as long as he gets in the end. He's got 2 goblin capes, having a 3rd one. And he will continue getting goblin spam, of course. The dwarf Belzebub going for phalanxes and getting a mine shaft up here. Probably looking to creep the troll and then get the inn if he can. Because, of course, dwarfs get in hobbits from the inn, which is always nice. There's some guardians as well being propped out there. BraBox getting goblin warriors himself, of course. He's running up 3 tunnels now, or 3 goblin caves rather. He probably does have 3 tunnels, I'd imagine. The fortresses also are very close together, so you can help your partners out really, really well on this map. Pretty cool. The closer maps are definitely more team-oriented, where you're like this. Maps like the Shire as well. You're very close to your teammate, so it's easy to help them out. We have 4 goblin caves here now. So Lazarus setting himself up for a lot of goblin spam. There's going to be a lot of spam in this game, that's for sure. Aside from the dwarves, every team is a spam faction, meaning they have very cheap, very numerous units that they can recruit, send out. Looks like no one's going to end up capturing this outpost, as it might be taken down by these goblins. Lazarus here. BraBox taking down the warg lair there. Trying to get the... Oh. Maybe not. Thought he was going to knock it down and get the gold and stuff. He probably will, eventually. It's going to be hard to keep track of everything. There's a lot of stuff on the map here. Looks like the Angmar player Jeepers, or Minion. Got some, lots of Gundabad orcs up here, and also some, not lots, I guess, a few battalions, but some Axlors as well. He's defending off these wargs pretty easily. Lots of goblin warriors going across the ford here into the base of the southern team. Of course, BraBox has a lot of goblins himself, so they shouldn't have too much trouble engaging that, I'd imagine. The dwarves, meanwhile, are pushing westward from the north. And like I said, he creeped the troll, and he does have hobbits pumping out now, which will help him out. Hobbits, of course, in rock throw mode are pretty amazing. Definitely a good unit to have, as they do a lot of damage with their little silverthorn rocks. as I like to call them. Looks like a few buildings getting knocked down for BraBox. Lazarus doing some damage with his goblin hordes. Continuing to keep the pressure up, sending more and more in as well. Looks like he'll get this goblin cave also. Dwarven player hasn't taken really any damage here. Not yet, at least. BraBox pushing in. He does run into Lazarus' army, though, and they will engage with their poison blades there. Of course, I would imagine the Goblins of Lazarus might win here. I don't think BraBox is actually using the poison blade. Maybe they are. Yeah, they are. Never mind. As it is on cooldown. It looks like Jeepers looking to engage the Dwarves here. Dwarves throwing down Rally Call on his army. He will, a pretty tough nut to crack there. We do have a level 3 Hall of the King's Men, though, for Jeepers. So we'll be getting Dark Rangers, which will be immensely useful here. Dark Rangers are incredibly good. And definitely want to go for those whenever you can as Angmar. Pretty quick. But not too quick, of course. They're not cheap, and if you can't defend them with melee troops, then you will just end up losing them. And it's not a cheap loss to have. We have 6 Goblin Caves now for Lazarus, and he has a lot of Spiderling. Are those burrow expansions? He's using burrow expansions. Interesting. No one uses burrow expansions. I forgot they existed because no one ever uses them. It's essentially a tunnel. So he can send guys anywhere into his fortress to I thought they were Spiderling expansions at first. That's what I would expect them to be. No, he can send guys through his mine network quite easily. Although he doesn't seem to be utilizing the mine network very much. He does have one down here, though. Or tunnel network, rather. Mines are dwarves, of course. Tunnels are goblins. Lazarus sending some goblins warriors to help out Jeepers here. And then they'll fend off the dwarves, I'd imagine. The Dark Ranger's taking a bit of damage there from the Axlers and Hobbits, which is not ideal. He does want to get them away, as he's doing. Save as many of their lives as possible, and then start ranging again as soon as he can. You have good range. And BraBox pushing in as well. Gonna take down this tunnel. Of course, Lazarus sending Goblin Warriors to engage. It's very spam heavy. There's just lots of stuff going on. The Dwarves do have forward mines up here, so Belspo will keep sending troops across the ford here. Although lots of Angmar troops pushing in on them. 3 battalions of Dark Rangers supported by a horde of orcs. They should be able to push them back a bit. The Dark Rangers will do massive damage to these Guardians, especially with the War Chant. They will eat through those units. And that should be cleaned up fairly soon, I would imagine. And it seems Goblins are still going at it with each other there. It can be a little bit difficult for me to tell whose Goblins are whose just by looking. I can, because these are clearly a bit more red tinted, but when they engage each other it can be a mess. It just looks like Goblin Warriors on Goblin Warriors. If I zoom in, of course I can tell. These guys have red legs, these guys have purple. So easier to tell from when you're zooming in. There's a beacon being placed by Lazarus. Obviously showing the Battle of the Ford. Possibly showing his partner where to go, as he'll need a bit of help pushing back BraBox's Goblin hordes. And of course these guys are pretty good at doing that. Although I suggest putting your guys in a defensive stance instead of aggressive stance to negate a little bit of the damage. You really just want to use them to tank, and they can still kill a Goblin Warrior outright in combat. In whole ground stance. We have to summon Spiderlings from BraBox, it looks like. Good power to have. Let's take a look at all the powers, really, at the moment. Let's take a look over here. Lazarus has Scavenger, always a good power to have. Cave Bats, War Chant, and 4 power points. He has a 950 command point limit, 650 used of it. Netflix, of course, Belspo the Dwarf has Undermine, Rally Call, and no power points remaining. 496 of 800. You need Minion There's Jeepers. Ooh, we got a battle wagon out there. Right there. He has Fellwind, Rally Call, 5 power points, 325 500 command point limit. So he's not doing nearly as well. And then we have BraBox the Goblin in the south, who has Spiderlings, Cave Bats, 9 power points remaining. It's 300 of 675. So I definitely say the northern team is well, was doing well. Excuse if you can hear the dog barking. Sorry. Nothing I can do about that. Anyway, yeah. Lazarus is trying to defend here. There is an undermine, so the dwarves can send guys over here quickly. I'd imagine he already has done so, as there is dwarves already in the base. And they're whose cave troll is this, I wonder? BraBox is sending a cave troll out. It's doing pretty good damage. Alright, cave troll, good choice, as he'll be beating away the faces of the other goblins. Cave troll with a stick be even better. If he gives him the stick, he'll have the AoE hit on the old goblin warriors, which will be pretty devastating. He will kill mass amounts of them. Generally speaking, I would say you want to give a cave troll a tree if you want to hit units. And if you want to hit buildings, I'd say definitely go for the old fist or even rocks. But in melee, of course, you use your hands. Lazarus getting a dragon. So Drogoth the Dragon Lord should be incredibly useful here, actually. Considering the dwarves don't really have much anti-air, if any. They might have a few axe throwers. Looks like the dwarves cleaning up the southern area over here. He does have battle wagons, of course, but that's not going to counter a dragon. And of course, the goblin enemy does not have any anti-air at all. So Drogoth is definitely going to be a problem for BraBox and Belspub. He's undoubtedly going to need to get some goblin archers now. And of course, goblin archers, he's going to need a lot of them if he's going to take down Drogoth. Because Drogoth is pretty tough, and he'll just smash the goblin hordes pretty effectively. And of course, he'll take down those cave trolls pretty easily as well, making Lazarus in a good spot. I'd say the best answer for Drogoth would be another Drogoth, or some Men of Dale from Belspub, which he is doing here. So he's going to definitely need to help out his partner there with the Drogoth, as goblins won't really be able to do it themselves, at least not effectively. We get Dark Rangers, lots of them, and we have some thralls in there somewhere. So he's just chilling out in the ford. Ooh, he's getting some Black Numenorians. Very, very good swordsman. Always good to get. Late game, pretty much, you want to Dark Rangers, Black Numenorians, and Hill Trolls if you can manage it. Snow Trolls is cavalry, of course. You can get those. And I definitely recommend Sorcerers after seeing Maher play with them. Sorcerers are absolutely incredible. But of course they are very slow, they're hard to micro, and they die very easily. So you have to be very careful with Sorcerers. Looks like BraBox summoned the Watcher there. Did manage to kill the Dark Rangers, I think. It's actually a pretty good use of the Watcher. Getting rid of the Dark Rangers really weakens the army of Angmar, the northern team there. So definitely a good choice. We got Men of Dale and some Guardians up here. We have a Cave Troll from BraBox, as well as some Hobbits from Belspub. And they should be fending off these Goblin Warriors from Lazarus pretty easily, especially with the Men of Dale there. And there's a lot of Goblin Archers there. Those will also help with the amount of Goblin spam that Lazarus is throwing out as well. Goblin Archers are pretty good, as you might imagine, at countering Goblin Warriors. BraBox even getting himself some half-troll Marauders. It's pretty sweet. Getting a couple arrow towers as well to help fend off Drogoth. And he does have these Goblin Caves upgraded to level 3, so they do get arrow towers as well. And of course, this tunnel's level 3, also get arrow towers. So Drogoth won't be able to attack the base very effectively. Ooh. Looks like there's a worm being summoned in by Lazarus into the Dwarven base. He's going to target down the archery range to negate any Men of Dale, of course. If he can get rid of all those and have no more Men of Dale on the field, he will have a lot easier time with his Drogoth, as you might imagine. Although Menadale being summoned under Drogoth, and they will take him down. That is unfortunate for Lazarus. Nice play there by Belzebub. Not even the cave bats managed to save the Drogoth. And that is a good power well spent, I would say. And does look like the worm might actually not take it down. No, he'll definitely get it. One more breathe fire is all he needs. And unfortunately, a level 3 archery range has been taken down for the dwarves. And also a Hall of Warriors. So this worm has done some damage. So it will be finished off there by the goblins. There's a mineshaft full of dwarves there. Let's go up here, take a look. See if I didn't miss too much. Lazarus getting mountain giants now. He's also back up to 6 goblin caves, and of course his level 3 fissure. Angmar, player Jeepers, still has all his stuff intact. He has more dark rangers out in the field now. Also having some Rudar spearmen to kind of take the brunt of damage in the front. I helped with these trolls, of course. This is a counter troll army if I've ever seen one. Although when a troll's freaking out, you don't want to stand next to it, because you can't kill him off, and he does just sit there and swing wildly and hit your units in his death animation. As he's technically already dead, he just sits there and flails around for a second. And you could take damage you shouldn't have. Of course, not the biggest deal in the world. These Menadale should time out pretty soon. These ones are real, though. Ooh, undermine right under the giant. Looks like he got stuck there for a second. Floating into there, and the dwarves pop out. Looking to do a bit of damage. There is an army for, is these BraBox's goblins? Yes, they are. So the goblins and dwarves looking to do some damage to the Angmar player in the north. Summon whites being summoned in by Minion or Jeepers to try and kill off some of these guys. Whites are pretty strong, especially against goblins. It looks like Jeepers will lose. Oh, no, he actually used Snowbind on that one to stop the mountain giant from doing the damage. Actually, no, that's Lazarus' mountain giant. That's his partner. I guess just to stop the goblin warriors, but it actually will save it. As you see there, he's also getting a few wall hubs. Yep, some wall hub expansions. Wall hub expansions, of course, are great to get around your fortress if you're looking for more defense. It does force the enemy into these little crevices here, meaning they can only hit with like 1 to 3 units at max, instead of a whole battalion hitting your fort. Most of them will be hitting the wall hub. And wall hubs, are, of course, are very tanky. So definitely a good tip if you're looking to increase your fortress's defense. I mean, sometimes it's better to get arrow towers just to prevent things from even getting to your fort, but if you know you can't really do that, wall hubs are definitely a good choice. Now the Angmar player has a pretty sizable force here, and Lazarus sending a mountain giant in tow with it. And they'll look to do some damage to BraBox here, who has Goblin King now, level 3. So he's been on the field for a little bit. Lots of goblin hordes. He's sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goblin caves and a fissure. So Lazarus' base is looking a little more impressive. Although all his goblin caves are level 3. Yeah, Lazarus is not. I mean, Wildman being summoned in on the mountain giant. Of course, the mountain giant, I think, did use Stomp, which kills a lot of them. The mountain giant coming across the ford. Meanwhile, the dwarves are pushing in the north here. Could potentially do a bit of damage to Jeepers there, as Jeepers' army is all the way down here. Will be nowhere near to save his base. And of course we have Prince Brand, Captain of Dale for Belzebub, the dwarf player. And of course is great. Once he levels up, he'll be amazing against Drogoth. He'll be amazing against mountain trolls, cave trolls, or mountain giants rather, with his Beast Slayer arrow, which he gets at level 8, I believe. 7 or 8, 7, okay. And BraBox has got a Drogoth of his own. Of course, he does need to be careful of the Dark Rangers, but he'll be okay for now if he's careful. Of course, Slam Shot is amazing for archers, against archers rather. He does need to be careful though, he's taking a lot of damage from the old thing there. We have Drogoth being purchased back by Lazarus. Of course, he did lose it earlier. He just now came back. Drogoth takes an eternity to come back. I swear. Whenever I play Goblins and I have to rebuild my build out, I cry because it takes like 10 minutes. It's more like 5 minutes. Still, it's a long time. Lazarus summoning in a Balrog, doing a lot of damage to Belspob's base, not Belspub, BraBox's base, and undoubtedly Belspob's base soon, as he's flying over there. Balrog is always devastating. He's going to get this Forge Works, of course. Going to negate any upgrades that could have been purchased, as of course you don't want your Dwarven opponent being upgraded. Looks like he has some forward mines all across the top here. He's continuing to build them. Good way to play as Dwarves. You always want to kind of keep going around the base with the old mine shafts, getting forward mines everywhere so he can't just stop you dead in your tracks. Building one mine shaft is not enough usually, because if you take it down, you will lose your access. You need to just keep pushing on with forward mines. Absolutely wrecking those orc laborers. And you will take out the entire base of Belspub pretty much. Every production building is now gone, and the majority of his partners' production buildings are gone as well, so that Balrog was devastating. Snowbind was thrown down on a Goblin cave. A little curious. But it didn't seem to work in time, and I think he threw it down on the building rubble, which is kind of funny. At least he won't be losing his building rubble, and it will rebuild eventually, so I guess it kind of in a way saves it, but not really. You're better off rebuilding your Goblin cave sometimes if it gets knocked down. Felwind being used. Oh, Prince Brand taking down the Drogoth though. Nice job there. So even though he did knock down all these men of Dale, he did manage to finish him off. And now BraBox summoning in Spiderlings in the back of Lazarus' base. Lazarus does have Mountain Giants to help defend, which would be pretty effective. Maybe not against the Spiderlings, I don't know. Possibly. I guess Spiderlings aren't that resistant to giant rocks, it turns out. As you would expect. A bug to be crushed by a rock seems pretty feasible to me. We have a Morgamir out for Jeepers. He's level 2 now. He does have the Driven Visage at least, which is pretty useful. We do have a King Dane level 3 though. Grants all of nearby allies resistance to fear and terror, which is nice. Does he, what else does he have? He has leadership, of course. And then at level 5 he gets the Mighty Rage, which is a buff. Basically rally call. In comes a Watcher once again, destroying the army of Angmar. In comes a little invasion force from the Goblins of the south. He does have a Troll in tow. He's looking to take down this level 3 Hall of the King's Men there. Although some whites being summoned in and Morgamir coming in to try and kill them off. I think the Troll will actually manage to take it down though. The Troll isn't really taking damage yet. I think this level 3 Hall of the King's Men will go down. Oh, nope. He actually saves it. Morgamir and the whites bursting him down, and the black minorities as well. Looks like Lazarus trying to fend off the dwarves here. All the forward mines have been taken out, and now King Dane is left all by himself. Apparently Smeagol dying there. Oh god, Lazarus is that Lazarus or is that BraBox? I can't really tell. That's definitely Lazarus. He's not being shot by the fort. Lazarus will claim the ring for himself. That would be pretty bad for him. Prince Brandon and King Dane are trapped over here in the north. This is bad news. Lazarus does have Goblin Warriors here. He could send after King Dane, and they should be able to finish him off with the Poison Blades. And that is a heavy loss for the Dwarves, of course. And even if King Dane tries to run, he'll take flanking damage, so really, no point in doing so. And the poison will burst down King Dane, and I think Prince Brand is in here too somewhere, isn't he? Or did he run off the other way? I don't see him. Either they killed Prince Brand, or he went the other way. Who knows? Anyway, BraBox still has his Drogoth. He is level 4 now. He does have the Wing Blast, which gets level 3. It's just knocked down, basically. It's kind of like a Fell Wind in a way, but not quite. Of course, you do have to get him directly above the units to use it. It's kind of like a repeated Fell Wind. It'll just keep using Fell Wind on the opponent. Now that Lazarus has the ring, he does get the special banner carriers and any special unit visual upgrade that comes with it. I'm not sure what else goblins have. I guess their dragon would look like Smog. The level 25 power dragon. The banners, of course, are green glowing instead of normal, like BraBoxes. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. I only know a few visual upgrades, really. The Blue Barrage, of course, for the Dwarves in Mordor. The Muma Kill upgrade for Mordor when they level 2 to get the war paint and stuff on them. Pretty cool stuff. I'm not sure what else goblins have, to be honest. So it's dwarves and goblins pushing in against the northern team here, putting a lot of pressure on the north here. So all the King's Men is very close to going down. If that goes down, that's going to be pretty bad for Angmar. And Jeepers will not be able to build his Dark Rangers anymore. Should be pretty bad, of course. He will need those, I'd imagine. Lazarus' base is looking still pretty safe. He's got all of his buildings intact. So we have an arrow tower in the back of the base here. Like I said, it's useful to get a few arrow towers here and there. But the front, definitely a good call, putting out the wall hubs, as that will get a lot of damage. Snowbind being thrown down the Hall of the King's Men will stop glowing from destroying it. Actually, no, geez. I'm not sure if you put it down. This is still taking damage, though. You put it down on this by accident, I guess. Or maybe it wasn't by accident. I'd imagine you want to save the thing over this, but maybe not. Depends on how his economy is, I suppose. That level 3 Hall of the King's Men is not a cheap building. The upgrades are not cheap at all. BraBox's base looking very well back in functioning production there. He's got lots of buildings, and Belspub has his buildings back as well. He has his Men of Dale coming back out. That's from his level 2 archery range. Looks like Lazarus is going to attempt to rebuild the outpost here. I don't think Drogoth is going to let that happen. No, he is not. And lots of goblins coming in from BraBox. We do have ice arrow upgrades for the Dark Rangers now. And of course, they are being kind of slaughtered off by these Goblin Warriors, which is unfortunate for him. Although it looks like he managed to kill them off mostly with the help of the Mountain Giants. Ooh, we got a surround on the level 3 mill here, and he does manage to take that down. There is, of course, a cloud break going down as well, which is stunning the northern team, except for the Mountain Giants, because Mountain Giants don't get affected by stun. And they do clean up a majority of those Goblin Warriors. Glowing still over here. There's a forward mine for the Dwarves right there, pumping out more guys. Dwarves do need to get their upgrades again. He would do a lot better if he had his forge. Well, he has the siege hammers at least. Of course, siege hammers are great for destroying buildings, as they're meant to do. Unfortunately, the Watcher being summoned down under the army of the Dwarves from Lazarus. The Watcher, of course, from Lazarus is what I meant. And that will negate that attack pretty much. BraBox sending in half-troll Marauders and Goblin Warriors here. And half-troll Swordsmen and Goblin Warriors over here. So he's going for a multi-pronged attack. Good idea. Drogoth fleeing to the south. And not really much to do over there, though. Perhaps he's just looking around, or looking to kill the cave troll. Fair enough. These Mountain Giants are doing a lot of damage. Every rock is killing a lot of guys, except for that one, because he's moving, of course. They have a set trajectory once they fire. Jeepers does have his ice arrows. He doesn't have dark iron mail or dark iron blades. And there's Sauron. Nice. Lazarus has got Sauron. Of course, when he comes out, he auto-casts darkness on the map. And now things should get ugly for the southern team, I would say. That will give Lazarus and Jeepers a huge advantage. As Sauron is a superpowered machine. Lazarus could be a superpowered machine too if he wants to be. And of course, this darkness buff is going to make the top team quite OP in comparison to the bottom team. The Goblin Warriors from the top will be overpowering the southern ones easily with that darkness buff. It doesn't mean they Bottom team is going to give up and lay down and die here. Bellspub is still pushing in here, trying to do some damage. As is BraBox, sending in his guys through the north. Really, this is what you want to do, is just keep the attack on the enemy when Sauron's out, because and the darkness buff is out. While your troops may die, and you may be feeding power points to the enemy, you don't want Sauron to really get to your base, or the army with Sauron in tow. So, keeping the enemy occupied in their own lands, keeping them out of your lands just by sending men to their deaths, basically, it's kind of smart in a way, if you think about it. Of course, they are looking to do some damage to the infrastructure of the top team as well. So I'm just walking around like a boss, doesn't give any shits. One-shotting that dwarven mineshaft with ease. BraBox does have Drogoth, though. Of course, Sauron can't counter a Drogoth. He does not have flying, anti-air. It'd be kind of funny if Sauron could just smack Drogoth as he came by. A real up-close look at Sauron. Whoever designed Sauron is awesome. They really knew how to design a really dark, malevolent lord of evil. I think Sauron looks so cool. Not just in-game, but I mean in the movies. Sauron's design is cool, I'd say. Anywho. Looks like BraBox is on the defensive now. Wait, why is BraBox's Goblin Warriors getting a... Oh, they're not. Never mind. We summon orcs from Jeepers, who are still benefiting from the darkness buff there. And they'll be cutting their way through these goblin hordes. Meanwhile, Lazarus sending men to the south. Looks like they cleaned up whatever was there, if there was anything. And Jeepers pushing in on the north here. So now I'd say that, of course, as you would expect, the northern team's starting to make a bit of ground. Where is Sauron, though, I wonder? That's a good question. There he is. He'll be pushing across the ford with this mountain giant and these goblin warriors. You do have some upgraded half-troll marauders and half-troll swordsmen ready to do battle, but of course Sauron will absolutely destroy these with either his fires of doom or just hitting them. As you see there, he gives no shits. There's also a builder in this army, which is a little funny. You need to be a little careful there. I wonder if that's on purpose. Looks like it is, because he's sending it a different way. Probably going for a forward mine. Yeah, definitely. Now BraBox has a fairly decent army in the base of Jeepers. Although, he does have to fend off Sauron, as you might imagine. And a Balrog as well on top of it. That sounds good. Lazarus going for the complete destruction of BraBox. Also summoning in the dragon, who, like I said, will look like Smog. See there? A Smog model. Pretty cool. Because he does have the ring. So I'm going for the Fires of Doom. Absolutely wrecking BraBox's fortress. And of course Sauron is going to finish up the fortress himself. If you want something done right, do it yourself. Sauron's motto. He does also have mountain giants throwing rocks, but he's dead. As you see, Sauron will have no trouble finishing off the fortress of BraBox. And that might be GG. The Balrog, of course, helping out, doing tons of damage. BraBox should be killed off fairly quickly with the amount of destruction going in here. And of course, Lazarus sending the dragon to the Dwarves instead. As he doesn't really need it to finish off the Goblins, as you might expect. Another northern team is using actual darkness, the power itself, so they will have the buff once again. Pretty powerful stuff, having darkness from Sauron and then having the power itself. Of course, the darkness from Sauron only happens once, just when he comes out. Sauron's taken almost no damage, even though he's being wailed on by these Goblin Warriors. They have no phase on Sauron there. Looks like Balrog will despawn there, but he's done his work. Of course, these building rubbles do need to be destroyed if the goblins will be killed off. Otherwise, they just rebuild. Of course, he's sending Sauron for the fortress of the dwarves now. And the dwarves, of course, have no defense against it. And Sauron will take down the fortress of the dwarven player Belzebub, which would be pretty much a noose on the team of the south. A nail in the coffin, so to speak. Angmar almost did lose their fortress, apparently. So it was a valiant effort by someone. Probably the dwarves, I'd imagine. Or possibly the goblins. The BraBox did have a fully upgraded army of half-trolls in there. And down goes the dwarves' fortress. Sauron's still very much alive. He should just fight, really. No reason to walk around. And as you see, he's just so powerful. He's nowhere near the patch 1.08 powerful. I mean, fighting-wise he probably is, but the power-wise he's not. I can't imagine why you would need to overpower Sauron as much as you do in patch 1.08. I think it makes him way too overpowered in my opinion. At least this way he's still killable. You shouldn't just win the game once you get Sauron. You should still be able to fight back. Just because you got Sauron doesn't mean you should win. Or Galadriel. But they are killable, of course. But in patch 1.08, he summons 2 Balrogs and he has a Word of Power as well. I was just like, what the hell? It's insane. Absolutely insane. It's cool though, but it's, for competitive play, maybe not the best, in my opinion. Sauron's really used to break stalemates, kind of, sometimes. In most games. That's kind of why the ring is on. So if things aren't going, like, either way, then if Sauron can be built, stalemate can be breached and a team will emerge victorious. Looks like Netflix, Belzebub has been defeated, the dwarven player. Of course, leaving BraBox, the goblin player, by himself. He should be dead here very shortly. I think these are his last 2 buildings, unless he built somewhere else. And there you go. Pretty epic game on Fords of Isen 4, I must say. Even ended with a Sauron. Pretty cool stuff. So well played to all those players. Well played to the top team, of course, who won the match. Lazarus and Jeepers. Or Minion, whatever you want to be called. And I will see you guys in the next cast of the Rise of the Witch King patch 2.02. See you next time.